There are multiple parts in the soul, multiple doorways in the soul that if particular things get a hold of can control your entire existence. But the issue now is that a lot of people, if they've noticed in their lifetimes that they're empty, it always feels like they're empty. And as a result of trying to fill up that void, they indulge in activities and proclivities such as drinking, smoking, trying to make money, fornication, and immorality. But I'm here to inform you that the only thing that can fill up the soul of man is the Lord God Almighty Himself. That is why you need Jesus. That is the only thing. Anything else will just take space, but you always feel empty. The Lord God Almighty is large enough and big enough to fill your soul, for He designed it in that manner, and it was intentional. So that at the end of the day, when you find out that nothing can fill that space, you come back to Him requesting that He enters you and fills that space and repels and removes every single dirt that existed and has been staining your soul as a result of sin since you were born. They were beings who should never have been born, and their bodies seemed to know it, demanding more and more fuel simply to sustain themselves, and even till now, they still demand that fuel. For the newer generation of Nephilim, they still demand it. That is why they need blood, because blood tends to have more protein. Basically, blood, because of the fact that it's also the life, tends to have more sustenance compared to just food. It has more energy than just normal meals, because that's how the Lord designed it too. And they always have to constantly take it, because if they do not constantly take it, they shall decay eventually, leading to even death. And this is not just for the Nephilim and the fallen angels. Any being that leaves the Most High loses their sustenance and needs to require something else to sustain them. And it's the same thing with man. Your sustenance is the Most High, not your job, not your work, not your husband, not your children, not your father or your mother. Your sustenance is the Most High, and we are to be made aware of this as people that fear the Lord. And so they began to take more. They raided villages, carrying away entire storehouses of food. They hunted the wild animals until the forests were empty. They stripped the land bare, leaving behind only desolation. The humans began to starve. Families huddled in their homes, rationing what little food that remained, praying to gods who seemed to have abandoned them. See this nonsense. Apologies, but see this nonsense. See, man, praying to gods who seem to have abandoned. Which gods? Do you see what I mean? Please, pardon me, but my demeanor in this particular video is very, very different from the usual. See this nonsense. Rather than praying to the one true God, they were praying to gods. To which gods? Tell me, which gods? Is it gods that you made or carved from stone and wood, that has no life, that you yourself gave creation, that created it? Now you're expecting that thing to answer your prayer, to deliver you from this